to discuss about your internship search and how was the procedure. I wanted to ask you a few questions about it.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
when did you start applying for internships and when did you land your internship?
Yeah, so about that, so I landed in US on 26th August and I started looking for internship right from 27th August. The major reason for that was my sister has been living here since like 2015, and the first thing she told me was like start applying for internship as soon as possible. And one of the major reasons for that was also because for finance internships usually they start looking very early. So like if I'm looking for 2023 summer internship, the position would be done till like October or November. So that was the primary reason why I applied so early. And I was very lucky enough to get internship in like October second week, and probably I was the first international student to get the internship.
Where did you get the internship?
So there's a good story to that. So I was looking at the companies and I had applied to a company, the Standish Management LLC, and so I had applied right at night at 12 o'clock, and I had received a rejection at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I was obviously thinking that this might look like an auto rejection, and luckily they were coming to the career fair organized by the Graduate Career Development. So I took one-on-one session with the alumni, and when she took a look at the resume, she was like, "Your resume matches with something that we are looking for, and this definitely looks like an auto rejection." So she went ahead and she sent the resume to her colleagues, and then my next round of interviews eventually happened.
So, despite the rejection, you took the opportunity to connect with the
Yeah,
recruiter on campus.
yeah.
That's nice. And how many rounds of interview did you have?
So I basically had 5 rounds of interview. The first round was like one-on-one, just basic. Then another one was again something like behavioral and about the work culture at Standish. She wanted to know about my background, where I come from, like do I have an accounting experience, and how can I be like a role fit to the company. And then I had like three interviews in one single day of half an hour each, and that was basically it. So in those three interviews, again, it was kind of some technical question, but I would say 90% of it was more of behavioral questions.
And how long was the entire procedure of 5 interviews? Was it like over weeks, or did you get done with the interviews in just 1 week and you got the offer?
So it was over a period of 10 days, and after, so the last three interviews were on a single day, as I mentioned, and after that, it took almost 10 days to get the offer letter.
Okay, so 10 days for the interview process and 10 days
Yeah,
for the offer
yeah,
letter.
yeah.
Once you got the offer letter, were you content with the offer? Did you need any changes?
Yeah. So I was happy with the offer letter, but I think because I had prior background back in India, so I have almost 2 years of work experience. So I thought I must negotiate with them because mostly the interns they hire were for like undergraduate students and someone who are like really freshers. So I had a conversation with Colleen and she helped me to negotiate the salary, and they did increase the initial wages that they had offered.
Okay, Colleen Murphy from.
Colleen Murphy from the career development.
Okay, and they actually increased you. Were you eyeing only city at Standish? Were you eyeing only in Boston, or were there any other cities that you wanted you to be relocated to?
I was applying across the whole United States of America, but I think like when you are from a university closer to Bentley, getting internships or job offers from companies which are located in Bentley is more practicable, or more the chances of getting it are more. So I was trying mainly for the Massachusetts area, but I was applying everywhere.
Okay, and can you elaborate how did your background play a major role in getting an internship for you?
Yeah, so my background did play a very crucial role because since when I got the internship, it was practically my first semester, so I didn't have any GPA for the American education system. So they were looking for a candidate who had a background in accounting, but as well and knew the financial products as well. So the basically my role is a fund administrator. So I would be dealing with private equity and venture capital clients and valuing and reporting that assets and end of the day calculating the NAV. So for that, it is very necessary to understand how private equity works. So the major thing that I had was like I had both experiences. So for a stint of almost 10 months, I worked as a cost audit intern. And coming from a commerce background, accounting background, I had to pursue cost and management accountancy back in India. And the exam is pretty similar to CPA here in USA, and the passing rate is too low, so it is considered a really tough exam. So that gave me an advantage. And then I had another work experience of 10 months as an investment relationship manager. So I had both experience, like finance and accounting, and so that matched with their expectation. So I was able to offer them a benefit of both, mix of accounting and finance.
What were the other resources from Bentley University you leveraged to find an internship?
Handshake. So I got to know about this opportunity on Handshake, and from Handshake I also got to know that Standish management had taken a look at my profile, because at Handshake there's a feature where you get to know whether. So that offered me some insights, and then so the major thing that helped me is like contacted with one of the senior students at Bentley who graduated in 2020, and he also helped me to tell me about a lot more about the company. And the hiring manager was also from Bentley University. She is an alumni from like 2009 batch, and she has been working with Standish management like almost for a period of 10 years.
Okay. And while studying at Bentley, did you pursue any extra certificate courses which were relevant to your course? And were you part of any organization that helped you to, to network or,
Yeah.
put out,
Yeah.
talk about those things in
Yeah.
interview?
So the resources at Bentley are quite amazing. So I went for the first initial, the most important certification in my field is the Bloomberg Market Concept. So I completed that coming here, like I completed that in around October. But I told them that I'm currently pursuing the certificate, so they were like, "Yeah, you must know that." Apart from that, there is one software called as QuickBooks, which is currently not available at the university, but the university does have like books related to that in the library. So I used that, and I told them that I'm currently learning the software, because they had mentioned that if you know, it would be an advantage. It's not necessary that you should know the software, but that also was a major advantage point with me, because when I was talking to one of the managers who was interviewing me, he said that since you have an idea of QuickBooks, that gives you a very good competitive edge over the other candidates.
Okay. And
And
any organizations?
yeah, so I'm a part of a lot of organizations here. The first thing I'm a part of, I'm working as a vice president of finance in the Graduate Accountancy Association. Apart from that, the most useful organization I think here is the Bentley Investment Group, which gives you the real life experience of how you can pitch stocks, how investments are analyzed, and how you will be working going forward as an investment manager. So I'm working with the telecommunications sector, and I've like worked with them for three pitches: Google, Car Gurus, and Apple, and we have successfully pitched them and got like approval rating of more than 75%, and they are part of the Bentley Investment Group portfolio today.
Hmm. Was there any time while you were looking out for internships that you were stressed and nervous and overwhelmed? Or were you like very confident with your CV and your experience?
No, so I was not confident with my CV. So I do have a good experience, but the first 2 weeks I didn't understand how the system works here, because being an international student, each country has different set of expectations. So firstly, I had to change my resume to American standards, and for that case, Audra and Laura helped me a lot from the career development. So I had initially 2 appointments with them, and I did implement that changes, and I think that eventually led to a good resume. And I did get a feedback from not just from Standish management, but a lot of like, recruiters who I was talking about, and they were really impressed with my resume. Some of them didn't offer me the internship because they were looking for other candidates, and they were not planning to offer me like CPT and OPT eventually. Why I selected Standish was like because they were offering growth potential, and the company is growing at a phenomenal stage. And the most important thing is, like he said in the interview, like the candidates we have, from like 10 candidates, out of those 10 candidates, 8 to 9 we prefer them to work with us as full time. So that was one of the major reasons that why I went with Standish.
Okay, so you were practically, because being the fact that you were an international student, you were just eyeing those companies who were to offer you a long future ahead and accepts OPT and CPT.
I was applying everywhere, so not just like so. The amazing thing is like so some companies, like I want to give this as a tip. So some companies do say that they don't sponsor or they don't look for OPT or CPT students, but my suggestion would like be like keep on applying. If you get any chance, try to get in touch with their HR. if the company finds you that the worthy that you are, and if they find you hardworking, I've seen students who are my seniors, when the company initially said that they won't sponsor, but now they're eventually sponsoring them because they found the candidates are really good. So my suggestion would be keep on applying, but try to get to network with the HR, because being an international student, most of the times your resume gets auto rejected once you mention that you are on an F1 visa.
Okay. And you got this summer internship,
Yeah.
right? And at Bentley we offer students a chance for second and third internship as well.
Yeah.
Would you be continuing with Standish management as well, or what are your plans on looking out for new companies or anything like that?
So my wish is to currently pursue with them, and but everything goes like how the work culture is going to be. So I have not started my summer internship yet. So depending on that, I would decide. But certainly, I would look to continue with them because the company looks good and the role is certain. The role is something that closely aligned with my goal. But yes, I'm also looking like if another offer comes to my table, I will definitely consider it and talk to Standish about that as well.
Okay. And apart from other resources that Bentley offers, were there any third resources like, say, like you checked out Glassdoor or LinkedIn,
Yeah.
to understand more about the company and your job profile, or did you connect with anyone before interview or anything?
Yeah, so the most useful tool that I would say is the Glassdoor and LinkedIn, as you said. So Glassdoor, I looked at to get reviews about the company, to get reviews about how the working culture is, and the most important thing, the salary. So basically the initial salary they had offered me was exactly mentioned on the Glassdoor, so that was quite useful. I did have an idea about what they were going to offer, so I was able to do my homework. The other thing was like I did find an international student on LinkedIn who has been working with Standish. She's not from Bentley, but I was able to locate her and I was able to talk to her. So initially, I just had conversation with her about how the role is and how everything is, and she was like, okay. So after my interview went, she herself asked me on LinkedIn like, how did the interview go? Did the company approach you? I said, yeah, the interview went well, but they have not replied me or anything. And she said, like, from her side, she said, let me do a thing, I would put a word for you indirectly. So I think that also played a major role because she has been working with Standish management for around 3 years and she's working at a superior position. So I think that also helped me to get that internship.
So she indirectly like put in a word for
Yeah,
you.
she did put me a referral for me as well.
Oh, that is so nice. Okay. Any key learnings or key takeaways that you would want to share with students who are still looking out for internships?
Yeah, the first thing is like keep on applying. And so the one thing I do is like I have separate resumes according to the role I'm applying for. For example, if it's more inclined towards accounting, I make sure I highlight my parts in my resume which are more matching towards accounting background. If I'm applying for finance position, I do that. And keep a set of resumes, keep an Excel worksheet, make a note which companies are replying to you. If any companies are rejecting, keep a look on the companies that are hiring for the same role but different candidates. Look after what their resume was like, how why what is difference between you and them, and try to bridge that gap and get to maximize the resources that are here. Be proficient with all the softwares. Like example, in my field, you should be able to understand Bloomberg, FactSet, Morningstar. Apart from that, be good with the coding, not like expert in coding, but have a good background in that.
Okay. And so were you looking at that specific role that your internship, or you had a diversified roles and designations that you were eyeing which were similar to your industry?
Yeah. So this is one tip that I would like to give to an international student, especially for internships. Don't be too rigid about what you want to go, because being an international, there are certain restrictions to what we can do, like in terms of the number of companies who are willing to hire us. So be kind of flexible. So I decided that I want to work in the financial industry, and that is something I cannot compensate on. So I decided that I want to work in the finance industry, and the roles that I was looking for were especially around the finance industry. So I won't apply for a role like if there is a role in General Electric for a finance position, I won't apply for that role because that is you go into the manufacturing side of that. So I am eyeing especially private equity, venture capital, investment banking in general, but not a particular role that I was applying for. So I applied to the to a plethora of roles in the particular industry.
Okay, so you had the industry in mind,
Mind.
and in within that industry, you were okay with
Yeah,
diverse
diverse
job
system.
profiles.
Yeah.
Okay, and you had a different CV and a different cover letter for each of them, or you would just tweak basic things?
For cover letter, I used to implement a major changes depending. So for one of the companies like PTC, I did try to implement their slogan in my cover letter. I didn't get anything from that, but these were some of the things that I was trying. But I have different resumes for different companies. So if I've applied for 10 companies, I would definitely have like 8 companies, eight resumes on my desktop right there.
And whenever you got a rejection from the company, would you ask for a feedback that why were you rejected, or would you reply or have a connection with the HR to understand if they can keep you in mind going ahead or something like that?
Yeah, I tried doing that, but I didn't get any response because most of the companies that I had applied for were like really big companies. So it's an automatic system or something like that, but I was not able to get replies from that side.
Okay, but do you recommend that doing
Yeah,
that
yeah,
will be
definitely.
helpful?
And that definitely applies to mid-sized firms where if you get to have a contact who knows that you have applied, they can definitely tell you why they're rejecting you or why you are not meeting their requirements.
Okay, so that's about it. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
coming here and sharing your insights.
Thank you. Thank you.